An overnight discovery near Harry Reid International Airport bringing a tragic end to the search for 63-year-old Alisa Goods. Officers responded near Terminal 1 around 1:45 Thursday morning after a body was found. Our newsroom has also learned investigators found surveillance video from August 8th, the same day Goods disappeared, showing a woman believed to be Goods near the airport that afternoon. The discovery answers one question her family has been asking for nearly 2 weeks. Where is Alisa? But it raises several others about how and why she ended up at the airport.
I'm scared. I'm worried. I don't want to think the worst. Where is she?
Goods disappeared on August 8th while visiting a longtime friend in Las Vegas. Her family says she left his home that afternoon and made it to this CVS near Paradise Road. After that, the trail went cold.
It's been 10 days. It's been 10 days. Where is she?
As the days passed, Goods' family grew increasingly desperate for answers, with relatives traveling to Las Vegas to help search. Then came a disturbing twist. Days after she disappeared, Goods' family says someone began responding from her phone, asking for money and eventually Bitcoin. Her niece, Alana Calloway, says she knew the messages weren't coming from her aunt.
It's not her, and I just kept feeling like I lost my breath. It took my breath away. I couldn't breathe.
1:45 in the morning. Near Terminal 1 at Harry Reid International Airport in Las Vegas, officers respond to a call. Someone has found a body. It will take another day before anyone outside that scene knows who she is. Her name is Alisa Goods. She's 63 years old, and 12 days earlier, she left an apartment a few miles from here to walk down a flight of stairs, catch a bus, and pick up a prescription. She was never supposed to be anywhere near an airport, so this is where her story ends. What we're about to tell you is how it got there.
This is the CVS where Alisa Goods was last seen. Her family has spent days searching for answers about where she went after leaving the store, and now that search has tragically ended less than 2 miles away at Harry Reid International Airport.
This is the case of Alisa Goods, a grandmother from New York who disappeared in Las Vegas on August 8th, who spent almost 2 weeks missing while her family searched hospitals, morgues, and city streets for her, and whose phone, during all of it, kept sending her family messages asking for money. On August 20th, she was found. On August 21st, her family confirmed it publicly.
Family has been vocal. We've heard from them. They've talked to our news team. They were out in Vegas as the search, which stretched, today's day 13 since she was last seen. And now this update, which is, of course, as you mentioned, Haley, nothing any family would want to hear. So just to kind of take you back, the woman was out there visiting a longtime friend. She was last seen on her way to a store, possibly a CVS. Later, the family, they had been calling her phone. They said that there was some communication via text. So they never got her on the phone, but we're looking at some of those text messages, which were given to us by the family. And essentially, it's an attempt to get money via Cash App, Bitcoin. So now the main update in the story is that reports are saying she was found, the family confirming this. We have a statement from the family. If we could pull that up. Our hearts are broken. We were notified that my aunt was found, unfortunately, not the way we wanted her to be. This is an unimaginable time. Words cannot describe the pain our family is experiencing right now. So this is a piece of the statement from the family. They also said, I have it here in front of me in full. We're still trying to learn the details surrounding her death. We ask for continued prayers and privacy as we grieve.
What we don't have, what nobody has, as of this recording, is an explanation. No cause of death, no confirmed answer for how she ended up where she was found, and no confirmation that the messages from her phone were ever connected to what actually happened to her. If you're coming to this case for the first time, you're about to get the whole story, start to finish. If you followed it already, this is where it picks up, and where, for now, it stops. Here's who Alisa Goods was. And here's everything that's actually known about how her family lost her. Ask anyone in her family to describe her, and they don't start with facts. They start with her face. Always got her teeth showing, her daughter Kristen says. Always looking to say, how are you doing? Her niece Alana calls her the kind of person who lights up any room she walks in. She's 63, a mother of 2, a grandmother of 5. By every account, the center of gravity in a large, close family. And in the months before this trip, she'd been dealing with something private, something most of the public never knew until after she went missing. Goods had recently gone through several surgeries on her legs, the kind that don't just heal overnight. Her family says walking for any real length of time had become difficult for her, painful, slow, something she had to manage. Hold on to that. It's going to matter more than you'd expect. Kristen says her mother also had a routine most people would barely notice, but in this family, everyone knew it. She checked in, constantly, small texts, quick calls, nothing dramatic, just contact. She would never drop off the radar, Kristen says, and especially for this amount of time. It is alarming. Alisa grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Her family is spread across New York today. Brooklyn, Manhattan's Upper East Side. Wherever she was living, her family says the same thing. She's the one who held everyone together. Las Vegas wasn't new to Alisa Goods. She'd been coming for years. This was her second trip of 2026 alone. She always stayed with the same person, a friend named Roger John. John and Goods had known each other for years. Accounts differ on exactly how many, somewhere between 9 and 20. But long enough that when she visited, she stayed with him like family, not in a hotel. August 8th started like any other day of that visit. Around 1:45 in the afternoon, Goods told John she was heading out. She needed to pick up her prescription, iron pills, from a CVS a short bus ride away near Paradise Road and Harmon Avenue. John watched her walk down the stairs from his apartment. That's the last time he saw her. He left himself about 15 minutes later, ran his own errands, and came back a few hours after that. She wasn't there. At first, that didn't worry him. Goods sometimes stayed out. He figured she was still out with her day. It's easy now to want that afternoon to feel different, to feel like a warning. But by every account, it didn't. It was just Tuesday, just an errand, just a woman, managing pain in her legs, doing what she'd done 100 times before, planning to walk back in. According to the missing person report, the last confirmed sighting of Alisa Goods came at 1:40 in the afternoon, near the 4900 block of South Maryland Parkway, on her way to the bus stop, but her family believes that wasn't the end of her afternoon. Kristen says she was later told, by a store manager, not by footage she watched herself, that her mother had stopped at another store near Paradise and Flamingo Roads, bought some supplements, a bottle of water, to be clear about what this is. Kristen didn't see that footage personally. This is what she was told, secondhand, by someone at the store. It hasn't been independently confirmed by police or released publicly, but it's part of what the family believes happened that day. If it's accurate, it means Goods made it further than anyone initially assumed, off the bus, into a second store. Still moving, on her own, hours after anyone last laid eyes on her directly. Remember what we told you about her legs, the surgeries, the pain that made walking for any real length of time difficult. If she really made it to a second store and then to the CVS after that, on legs that could barely carry her some days, that's not nothing. That's a woman pushing through real physical difficulty to get her errands done. And after the CVS, by every account the family has been able to piece together, the trail goes cold. No confirmed sighting past that point, no receipt, no camera, nothing publicly reported that says where Alisa Goods went next. By that evening, Roger John started calling her. No answer. He tried again, texted her, nothing. Her phone seemed to just stop, no calls getting through, no text delivering. For one night, that's unsettling, but not unheard of. But one night became 2. Somewhere in those 2 days, John made the call that turns a bad feeling into a case file. He reached out to Goods' family in New York. Her family's reaction was immediate. File a report, don't wait. On August 10th, 2 days after Alisa Goods walked down those stairs, John filed a missing person report with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. From that point forward, this stopped being a friend's worry. It became a case number. The case was logged under number LLV2 60800031980. Alisa Goods, officially now a missing adult. That classification matters because it shapes everything that happens next. A missing adult case isn't treated the same, procedurally, as a missing child or someone reported alongside signs of a crime. Adults are legally allowed to go missing on purpose, so investigators start by ruling out the simplest explanation first, that she left safely by choice. For her family, that starting point already felt wrong. Everything they knew about her, the constant check-ins, the pain she was already managing, the fact that she'd never leave without a word, pointed the other way. At this point, here's what we actually knew at the time. Alisa Goods was last confirmed, seen at 1:40 p.m. on August 8th, possibly seen again after that at a second store, according to her family, reported missing 2 days later. And her phone, the one no one could reach, was about to start working again. Just not, her family believed, in her hands. 2 days after the report was filed, Alisa Goods' phone came back online. For a moment, that should have been good news. It wasn't her calling. It was a text to her niece, Alana Calloway. "Are you trying to get gas right now for the car?" Calloway didn't just get suspicious. She tested it. She told the person on the other end that someone named Kelly would be sending money. There is no Kelly, not in this family. Alisa Goods would have known that instantly, and said so. The person texting back didn't flinch, didn't ask who Kelly was, just kept going. "That was alarming," Calloway said later. "Every time the person texts back, it just felt like my heart was in my stomach, because I knew it wasn't my aunt." And there was the gas money itself. Alisa Goods doesn't drive, never rented a car in Las Vegas. There was no gas station to be stranded at, because there was no car to put gas in. So who was this? And where was the real Alisa Goods while someone used her phone to ask her family for money? The gas money request was just the opening. Within the same conversation, the ask changed. $40, then $50. And it wasn't cash anymore. It was Bitcoin. The person on the other end walked Calloway through it, step by step, how to buy Bitcoin through Cash App, how to send it. That detail matters. This wasn't a confused, panicked message from someone in trouble. It was instructional. Someone who knew exactly how they wanted to be paid. Every time Calloway pushed for a phone call, a video chat, anything that could confirm a face or a voice, the excuses shifted. The card wasn't working. They were at a gas station. They couldn't talk right now. Small excuses. Easy to say, hard to disprove over text. And in the meantime, still no sign of the real Alisa Goods. Alisa Goods has a son too, Kevin Newton. At some point during all of this, he got a call. Not a text, an actual call, from a voice claiming to be his mother. He recorded part of it. He asked her to get on video, to just show her face for 1 second so he'd know. She didn't. He asked her where she was. Home. One word, no address, no detail, just home. Think about what that word is supposed to do. It's supposed to close the question. Instead, for a family with no idea where their mother actually was, it did the opposite. When he pushed for an actual address, the call disconnected. Newton later put what he was feeling into 6 words. He said, "Just give my mother back. I don't know what y'all got going on, but this ain't it." The family turned the recording, along with the text messages, over to police, which brings us to a harder question than, who is this? It's, once investigators had all of this, what did they actually do with it? Here's where this case got genuinely difficult while it was still unfolding. Not because the facts were unclear, but because 2 reasonable conclusions could be drawn from the exact same evidence. The family's reading was straightforward. Someone who wasn't Alisa Goods had her phone. That person was asking for money, avoiding calls, avoiding video. To them, that added up to one thing. Someone else may have had access to her, possibly against her will. Now here's the other reading. The one that came from Las Vegas police on August 19th, the day before her body was found. A department spokesperson, Adan Ocampo, told NBC News that based on their detective work, Goods was classified as a missing adult, and that there was, in his words, nothing to suggest she is in danger. Investigators believe the calls and texts could be the result of spoofing. Scammers monitoring missing persons cases, lifting contact information off flyers or social media, and posing as the missing person to extract money from a grieving family. The FBI has flagged this exact pattern as a growing trend. We're telling you that theory now, knowing what we know, and we want to be honest about what that means. That statement, nothing to suggest she's in danger, was made one day before Alisa Goods was found dead. That doesn't mean the spoofing theory was wrong. It's entirely possible the texts were a cruel, unrelated scam, and something completely different happened to Alisa Goods that had nothing to do with her phone at all. Two separate tragedies tangled together by coincidence and cruelty. But it also means that reassurance, the one thing investigators could offer her family at the time, didn't hold up. And it's worth sitting with that for a second, because somewhere in the gap between those two readings is a family that was told not to worry one day before their worst fear became real. While all of this was happening, one name kept coming up: Roger John, the friend Alisa was staying with, the last person who saw her. It's a fair question, and the family asked it themselves. Kristen addressed it directly. "To us, he is not a threat," she said, "and he's also been cleared by the police. There isn't anything to investigate in terms of his knowledge." That's worth stating plainly, because it matters. Both the family and Las Vegas police agree Roger John is not a suspect. He wasn't hiding anything. He was the one who raised the alarm in the first place and later helped post flyers, with her face on them, around the same streets where she was last seen. So while police worked the case on their end, the family didn't wait around for updates. Callaway called hospitals, then the coroner's office, then local jails and correctional facilities, ruling things out, one by one, on her own. None of it turned up anything. According to Callaway, when she finally reached a detective, she was told her aunt did not meet the qualifications of a priority, meaning, in Callaway's telling, that Goods didn't have a disability on record. To be clear, that's Callaway's account of the conversation, not a line police have confirmed publicly in those exact words. But whether or not that specific phrase was used, the feeling behind it was real for this family. Kristen also raised a separate frustration with how little the city's surveillance network seemed to help. "I'm extremely frustrated," she said, "because I would think that this town would have so much more surveillance. I would think there was a way for facial recognition to locate someone." So Kristen made a decision. She flew from New Jersey to Las Vegas herself, met with detectives in person, sat across from them, asked her questions directly. She told reporters she didn't learn anything new. Her goal, she said, was to give my mother a voice, because the family didn't feel they were getting anywhere over the phone. A family doing the investigative work themselves, hospitals, jails, flyers, a flight across the country, and still, at that point, no answers. Nearly 2 weeks after Alisa Goods walked down those stairs, the silence broke. Not with a phone call, not with a sighting. Early in the morning on August 20th, around 1:45 a.m., officers responded to a call near Terminal 1 at Harry Reid International Airport. A body had been found. It would take a day to confirm what the family had been dreading since the first missed phone call. On August 21st, Alana Callaway confirmed it publicly. The body was Alisa Goods, and almost immediately, one detail made this discovery even harder to make sense of. Harry Reid International Airport isn't near the CVS on Paradise Road. It isn't near Roger John's apartment. It isn't on any route Alisa Goods had a reason to be traveling that day. According to reporting from local station KTNV, investigators located surveillance footage from August 8th, the same day she disappeared, showing a woman believed to be Goods near the airport that same afternoon. That detail hasn't been confirmed by police directly in a public statement. It's attributed to sources close to the case, but if it's accurate, it means Alisa Goods was moving through the city that day, far beyond where anyone initially assumed she'd gone. Remember her legs, the surgeries, the pain that made ordinary walking difficult some days. If she truly traveled from that apartment to a second store, to a CVS, and then somehow to an area near the airport, all in the same afternoon, that's not a short walk. That's not a woman quietly wandering nearby. That's real distance covered by someone who, by her own family's account, struggled to walk for any length of time at all, which leaves the question that matters most right now. Not who she was, not what she went through, but simply this: how did she get there? Nobody outside the investigation has answered that yet. Not publicly, not as of this recording. So let's be exact about where this stands. As of the day this was written, Alisa Goods was last confirmed seen at 1:40 p.m. on August 8th near South Maryland Parkway. Her family believes she was seen again after that at a second store, though that account hasn't been independently verified. She was reported missing on August 10th. Beginning August 12th, her family received texts and at least one call from her phone number requesting money and Bitcoin. On August 19th, police said there was nothing to suggest she was in danger. On August 20th, her body was found near Harry Reid International Airport. Her family confirmed her identity the following day. Here's what hasn't been released: the cause of death, the manner of death, any explanation for how she traveled from where she was last confirmed to where she was found, and any confirmation, one way or the other, of whether the messages from her phone were ever connected to what actually happened to her. We're not going to guess at any of that. Not the cause, not a motive, not a theory dressed up as an answer. If there's an update by the time this reaches you, an autopsy finding, an arrest, an explanation, we'll say so, here or in a follow-up. What we do know is simpler and harder than any of that. A woman who checked in with her family constantly went quiet for the last time in her life. And 12 days later, they found her. Go back to where this started, 1:45 in the morning. An airport she had no reason to be near. A phone that for days kept speaking in a voice that wasn't hers. We may never know if those two things are connected. It's possible they never were. That somewhere out there, someone ran a cruel scam on a grieving family, while something else entirely happened to Alisa Goods. It's also possible they were connected the whole time, and no one understood that until it was too late. Right now, nobody outside of whoever sent those messages knows which one is true. What we do know is that a family spent 12 days doing everything they could, calling hospitals, calling morgues, flying across the country, testing a stranger's story with a name that didn't exist, and it still ended the way it ended. In her own words, released the day her family confirmed the news, Alisa's niece, Alana Calloway, said this: "Our hearts are broken. We were notified that my aunt was found, unfortunately, not the way we wanted her to be. This is an unimaginable time. Words cannot describe the pain our family is experiencing right now. We are still trying to learn the details surrounding her death. We ask for continued prayers and privacy as we grieve. If you have any information related to this case, anything from August 8th, anything about that afternoon, anything about who may have had access to her phone, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police are asking you to come forward. Case number LLV260800031980. Oh, this isn't a story that ends with an answer. Not yet. It ends with a family asking for privacy and for the truth in whatever order those arrive. So here's what we're left with. If someone you loved suddenly needed real distance covered on a body that could barely manage it, would you have known, the way this family eventually did, that something didn't add up?
Yeah, it's
It's a heartbreaking story, but it's also so disturbing that someone had her phone and was texting, asking for money through her phone number. I mean, I can't even.
So a lot of questions, and of course there's an ongoing investigation. The family felt, and I got to put this in context because we often hear this from families covering stories like this, that maybe the search wasn't aggressive enough. Our news team right now, our desk, is trying to get in touch with law enforcement in Las Vegas. This is the kind of thing that still has a lot of moving pieces in terms of a lot of questions. This is a story that they're covering extensively in that area, missing woman. But of course, it's local for us as well because she was from here.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's the summer. A lot of people vacation in the summer. They leave the tri-state. And what you hope is that your family member comes home. So this is obviously an extreme tragedy for this family. And again, a lot of questions. But the family did not believe that she was the one communicating with them. So the family wants
From
to
the
know.
get-go.
Well,
Yeah.
with the text messages. So again, a lot of questions. This is just breaking in our newsroom. So we're working to get some more details, and I'm going to handle this for 4, 5, and 6 for TV.
And I know Robert Moses has also been covering this.
Yeah.
And he spoke with Alisa's niece.
Yeah.
And said that she had visited this friend multiple times before.
Yeah.
This wasn't like
It's a longtime friend.
This is a longtime friend. And then he must also be disturbed and freaked out. You know, she leaves to go to the store and
like you have a visitor from out of town.
And is found near, you said, the airport?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. So Harry Reid International Airport, that's the main airport. As you can imagine, a lot of tourists move out of Harry Reid. Also, a lot of locals. So a lot of questions for sure.
A lot of questions. All right, Stephanie, thank you so much.